Hi, this is Mike Fantastic. Welcome and thanks for joining me. I think you're going to enjoy this video. I'm going to tell a little bit of a humorous story about how I had to battle cravings and I lost. Alright, so this past weekend was Father's Day, and the preceding Friday, my daughter's preschool was organizing an event called Doughnuts for Dad, where they could celebrate the fathers. And it was a great event where my daughter had made gifts in class and cards and presented it to me at the breakfast there, and it was really quite awesome, and I'm really grateful for the school for organizing it. It was called Donuts for Dad because they were serving donuts for breakfast. As you can imagine, I don't really eat donuts, and before this past Friday, the last time I ate a donut was well over a year ago. And then my daughter has been having some issues, so we have put her on a mostly grain-free, certainly a gluten-free diet. So I decided that I was going to find and make a grain-free donut. So this is what I did, and I made it the day before. And these donuts were extremely delicious and very nutrient dense. They were made from almond and coconut flour, and it had a glaze on it. It was made from maple syrup, coconut butter, and coconut oil. So this was a very nutrient dense donut. It was very filling. It had protein, it had fiber, it had healthy fats. So keep that in mind as I tell the story. Well, so now it's the next morning and we're supposed to go to the school, and my wife is working, and she's the one that usually helps get the kids ready, and she's really great at that. But I'm all by myself, so I'm kind of rushing around and building up a little bit of stress. We get off to the school, and then we get in there, and I have my 20-month-old son with me, as well as my daughter. And my 20-month son does not like being still. He likes to be all over the place. And as you can imagine, there's no high chair, there's no way to really corral him. So I'm focusing most of my time on trying to keep him in the seat and trying to feed him without making too much of a mess. But let's face it, that was a losing battle. But at least I wanted to contain it a little bit so it didn't look like we were having a food fight. And then in between feeding him, I was just shoveling a donut in my mouth. So I wasn't really even enjoying the donut I was having. And then I look over to the table next to me, and it's a huge, beautiful spread of probably about 5 different types of donuts. And I had this urge to go try them out, even though I have donuts that I had made on the table. So I walk over there, and I get 2 different, maybe 3 different types of donuts, don't judge. And I bring them back. And I end up scarfing those things down too. So I had about 3 or 4 donuts, and I ended up feeling so horrible afterwards. I was miserably full. I had no energy. I didn't really feel great until about noon or 1 o'clock, 1 o'clock that day. So I'm sure you found yourself in this situation where there was a certain type of food or environment that you were in that caused you to overeat. So let's take a look at some of the elements that caused me to overeat, and hopefully this helps you out. Well, the first thing was obviously the stress of having to get the kids ready and then trying to watch my son as we're eating. This kind of stress led me to want to eat really quickly so that I felt better quickly, because any type of food that you eat is going to raise your serotonin a little bit and help you feel better. The second thing was food variety. When I looked at that table and saw all those different types of donuts, it wasn't really that I wanted a donut in and of itself, but I wanted to try all the different types, which is why I got 2 or 3 more. And the third thing is high food reward. When you eat things that have refined carbohydrates like white sugar and white flour, which donuts have both of those things in high quantities, that unnaturally stimulates the reward center in your brain, causing you wanting to eat more and overeat. So with these 3 things combined, this is what led me to overeating. Well, the best thing that you can do for a situation like this is to practice mindful eating. I know I've talked about it before, but had I actually taken the time to slow down before I ate, maybe focused on my breath a few times, or gave thanks for my food, that would have calmed me down a little, and I wouldn't have been in such a rush to eat the food that was in front of me. I would have been able to enjoy it more and been less likely to reach for more donuts. And practicing mindfulness, because I would have been more satisfied, I wouldn't have really been looking towards eating much else. But also, even if I was, mindfulness helps lessen the pull of both food variety and high food reward, because this makes you more aware of how the food is having an effect on you and the pull that it has. So it gives you a little pause in between the craving and the act of eating to actually make a choice. So I could have still chosen to eat those donuts, and that would have been okay. But what's important is that I would give myself the space to make a deliberate choice of whether to eat those donuts or not, instead of eating them unconsciously. And that, of course, would lead to me eating less as well. So even if I had grabbed more donuts and then I committed to eating that extra donut mindfully and slowly, I would have gotten more satisfaction from that donut and still been less likely to reach for, say, a third donut. So I hope those kind of things have helped you. That's all I got for today. Now I would like to hear from you in the comments. Tell me about some of your stories where you have battled cravings and maybe lost and hopefully won. Like the video, like the Facebook page so you don't miss out on any future posts. Share with family and friends. And until next time, be healthy, be happy, be extraordinary.